All you humanoids out there, this is Ted Arcidi, the real deal, the world's strongest man, the first and only man to bench press 700 without those silly bench shirts, elbow wraps, and wrist wraps. Give me back my pro wrestling, the golden age. I want that back now, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
For those who don't know, now you know, baby. This is Hot Rod Biggs, Jared, Jimmy Street. We're going to take them to the limit one more time, baby, right here on Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one more time to the Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling podcast. And I am here, as always, with my brother from the same father and mother, the Plastic Sheik, Jared Street. What's up, Sheik? How you doing?
I'm doing good, brother. How are you?
Good, man.
To spice things up a little bit, I brought some charisma with me.
Oh, man, that means you brought the co-host with the mo-host, the territory wrestling guru, and the host of This Month in Wrestling History, Quinton Quarisma. What is up, Q? How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
Doing good, doing good.
I'm doing awesome. Holy crap, guys. We got Ted Arcidi on the show today.
Oh, we had to keep you on planet Earth with this one.
Yeah, and guys, y'all probably don't get this, and I understand, but honestly, from childhood, I loved his action figure. That turned into becoming a fan of his wrestling. World-class time. My gosh, he's had such great experiences. I really can't wait to talk to him, and I just got to say, man, this one is a big one for me, if anything. So, I'm stoked.
You sent me a meme the other day, kind of Shawn Michaels winning his first title.
That's between us, Sheik. That's between What do you think about Ted, Quinton?
I think he gets a bad rap for just being a big guy. Watched his world-class stuff. He could talk, and he can move better than you think he can, Yeah. And he was rushed.
Right.
Vince rushed him. He was nowhere near ready to be on TV, but Vince rushed him, and you could see by the time he got to world class, he was only in the ring for what, 2.5 years?
Yeah, literally.
I mean, everybody. It's very rare you catch on. So by the time he finished up, he was, he didn't have time to advance enough that people, they don't realize he didn't have enough time to get better because he was. Wasn't in it long enough, but he did get better if you watch his world-class stuff.
Oh, yeah. He was incredible. Yeah.
He moved. He actually could move decent for somebody that big, but he was, Vince missed the boat. You watch that world-class stuff where the day in the life of Ted Arcidi is classic, man. And Vince, I bet Vince didn't have no idea. Talk like that.
Yeah, no, not a bit. And I mean, honestly, that's what I think too, is Vince absolutely missed. But you know what? Here's the thing, man. He was right there in the midst of Hulk Hogan. And, I'm sure you had to be extra, extra great to get some notifications through that time period. But yeah, I think he turned into something awesome, especially in the world-class stuff, him and Percy Pringle. But we'll get to all that when we get Ted on. I want to cover a few more things before we get him on. Our last show, of course, was our 100th episode with the one and only gorgeous Joey Jackson. Got to thank Captain's Corner Nick for that. Heard some cool thoughts and reviews from some of the folks that listened to the show. Nick himself, Aaron Camaro, the mayor, John McCall, Brad Freeland, Ben Martin, a couple great listeners. They all wished us happy 100. Guys, thank you all so much for that, for supporting us through these 100 episodes, 101 now with Ted. So thank you all. And thanks for the ones that reached out. Really meant a lot. Thank you all so much for the support. Of course, we got to keep going with the Captain's Corner Portland Wrestling Expo 2, Saturday, February 21st, Holiday Inn, Portland Airport, 8439 Northeast Columbia Court, Portland, Oregon. Guys, if you're anywhere close, go to that Portland Wrestling Expo. I know we wish we could, right, guys?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, I am just so excited to get Ted on. I don't have much else. Do y'all have anything before we get to break?
Nothing, brother. Let's get to it.
No, let's do it.
All right. I like how y'all say that. Let's get to it. We'll be right back with the one and only strongest man in the world, Ted Arcidi, on Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
Captain's Corner is bracing for a big close to 2025 featuring Glory Days GrappleCon 3 on Saturday, October 25th. Glory Days GrappleCon 3 invades the Hilton Garden Inn in beautiful Lutz, Florida, featuring the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, Abdul the Butcher, Barry Windham, Dory Funk Jr., and many more. This will be one of the biggest assemblance of legends to ever hit the Gulf Coast. Then, as the year closes, we focus on the Portland Wrestling Expo 2. Returning to the Holiday Inn Portland Airport on February 21st, PWE 2 will feature Ken Patera, the Grappler, Gorgeous Joey Jackson, Scott Norton, and over a dozen other stars of the past, present, and future of the Pacific Northwest. Make sure to head on over to Captain's Corner on Facebook and Instagram for full details on both those shows and all of our other signings. Cheers to the working man.
Hey, my name is Tammy Reynolds. I am the wife of Forsaken Rick Reynolds, that super cool guy that everybody knows and loves. And I represent West Side Sauces. I make sauces, I bottle them, I seal them, I sell them. I have a hot honey sauce, I have a sweet sauce, I have a hot sauce, I have a white sauce that's so yummy you can use it on everything. They are absolutely amazing and I'm so proud of them. We make them from scratch. So go on our website, westsidesauces.com, check out our products, read about our story, and go online and order you some of these yummy sauces. And Rick actually uses all of the sauces because he is a die-hard smoker and griller, and so he likes really good sauces and rubs, and I make them, so how convenient is that for him? Go on our website, westsidesauces.com, order you some samples, and I think you'll thoroughly enjoy them. Thank you guys. Be blessed.
All right, we are back with more from the Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling podcast. And y'all, if you've listened to this podcast, you know there are certain guests that we've wanted from the start. There are many names that we've mentioned, but one of the names that I've always mentioned that is right at the top of the list is the one and only world's strongest man, Ted Arcidi. Ted, this is a dream episode of mine. Thank you, sir. How are you?
I'm happy to be here. Happy to say hi to the fans. It's always good.
Thank you. You know, I got to meet you at the gathering. That was a lot of fun. You were very gracious with everyone.
We had a long-ass line there, too, huh?
You did. You were out the door, brother. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm psyched. That was really good. That was put on, and I got to see some of my buddies there. Some of them not in the greatest shape, but thank God they're still there and alive.
Yeah. Well, you look great, man. I'll say that.
Thanks.
Yeah, brother. Yeah.
Well, you got to stay in shape. You know, if your joints start shitting the bed, I say get them replaced.
Right.
So you can still do your cardio and do your lifting and stuff. These other guys, God bless them, maybe they don't got the money, they don't want to do it, or they don't want to go under the knife. But if you stop moving, you're going to die. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, that's what they tell you. So, yeah, absolutely. Well, we always pass off the first question of every show to the Plastic Sheik. Take it away, Sheik.
All right, Ted.
Plastic Sheik, you're on. Go ahead, big guy.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right, so Ted, if you had a Mount Rushmore of wrestling, now this could be guys you like to work with, guys you like to watch, guys you were influenced by, or whatever. If you had 4 or 5 names, a Mount Rushmore, give me that.
John Studd, because I had the best matches with Big John Studd. And then second one would be the Iron Sheik, because we had great matches in the Midwest and down in Texas. Bruiser Brody, because I love brawling outside the ring with him. And then Volkov, because he was just a great guy, and he was a lifter like me. He set world records in communist Russia and Czechoslovakia before he escaped. So I could relate to him. But also, like I said, the Sheik, I mean, he was a real deal, because he got the gold medal in the Olympics in the late 70s and stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess I'd have to put Patera, Ken Patera up there too, because he was kind of instrumental in getting me into wrestling with Vince.
Yeah, cool. Did you ever try the Sheik's Persian clubs?
No, I never did, but I've seen some YouTubes of Ultimate Warrior trying to do them. I think that's more of a rhythm thing. You got to get the
They say
right.
the motion's right. Yeah, the motion is part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. But those fuckers, you got to take them seriously. They'll throw you for a loop. You know?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's a great list though. That's a very unique list,
yeah.
but it's fitting for you to have that list because a lot of those guys.
That's an ancient test of strength too, because that's been around for like 100 years, right?
Oh, maybe more. I don't know.
No doubt. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's when the Sheik would probably have a whole harem of chicks.
Right. I figured he already did. So.
Yeah, he did. He was such a good guy too, man. I didn't realize he was that old when he died because he looked pretty good.
Oh, dude. Yeah. He's always great shape. Yeah. So, Ted, this next question, I'm going to start it off with this because obviously, I spoke to you at the gathering about how much I was a fan of you and your figure. And all that. But I'm going to take this directly from your LJN card back, okay? So it says, even before joining the WWF, Ted Arcidi was a world-famous athlete and celebrity. It was this 297-pound strong man from Boston who became the first man ever to bench press more than 705 pounds. He is considered by many to be the strongest man in the world and one of the brightest new talents in the WWF. He most often defeats his opponents by simply overpowering them and wearing them down. But as he gains more wrestling experience, he will use strategy and know-how more to his advantage. Arcidi has the size, strength, and intelligence and desire to become a serious contender, maybe even champion. Only time will tell. So obviously the reason I read that right there is because it talks a lot about the early part. So, let's talk first about weightlifting. How did you get into weightlifting as a young man?
Good question. Very good question. First of all, I was graduated high school. I was like 165 pounds. I was skinny, but I was really good at push-ups, sit-ups, chin-ups, dips, because I was a hockey player. And I remember the coach telling me, if you want to play college hockey, you got to put the weight on, because I was a defenseman. And as you know, defensemen in the NHL and in college, that's a tough role. You got to have some good size. You got to mind the front of the net. You got to kill people in the corners, come out with the puck. So I made a commitment. I said, I got to get big. I want to be a moose. So that's when I started lifting with my friends who were on the football team. And we got all together and we just started the basic benching, military press, curls, and squats. And I was just putting on the pounds and putting on the weight on the bench. I think I went from, in 3 months, starting lifting, I was benching maybe 200 pounds as a max. In 3 months, I got to 300. And then in 6 months, I got to like 365. And then I got to 400 in a year benching. Juice. Wow. No juice, no nothing. Dry, just eating like a bastard.
Yeah.
And then I realized that, someone said, why don't you, because there was this flyer in the gym about a bench press meet, and I never heard of a bench press meet, but they said you go there, it's like a powerlifting meet, but it's one lift in the bench. You do 3 different lifts, 3 different attempts, and whoever gets the highest one, you win. I would just like to go because it's got to be strict, it's got to be paused on your chest, and you get a full lockout. And I said, I'll give it a shot. And I ended up getting a 440 bench in 1980.
Whoa!
For the New England Championships, and it was like, wow! And they were writing about me and stuff. And I said, hockey's around. I'm skipping hockey. I like this better.
Yeah, no doubt. And then obviously,
stuck with that.
Yeah, and then, so that's in 80, and then you come to 1985, and you've added another 300 pounds, 305 or roughly 300 pounds.
Yeah, to get to 705, because the year before I did the 666 on my 3rd attempt. I opened up this was the Hawaii International Powerlifting Championships in Hawaii in 1984. I opened up with I think a 585. And then I went right to 666 for the world record. And I got it, but it went up crooked. And it's on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And then they gave me I had a second attempt, and I still got it, but it still went up a little crooked, so I get disallowed, because you got to remember, this is with 3 international judges and an international championship, and I had to go up even. And then the third attempt, I got the thing. I blasted it up. I said, enough is enough. I'm here from Boston. I ain't going to waste the trip. And I locked the thing out. I got it up, and the place went shithouse. I did 666.7 to be exact. And the place, it was like 2,000 people there. It was on all the sports stations. And I set the world record in the super heavyweight class, weighing only 286, which is unbelievable. So that's, and then I knew I was going to come back. I mean, because I knew I was going to get an invite again the following year, because I knew I was going to go for 700, put a little more weight on. Yeah. And as sure as shit, I got that a year later. But that was a big turning point in my life, because that was giving me a taste of seasoned international powerlifting championships on an international stage. But it didn't even bother me. I just said, I put the work in at the gym, and I'm going to blast this thing, you know? Yeah. And one of the things I say that I tell people, when we're all coming from America, the mainland, to go to Hawaii, I said, I'm going to play this smart. I'm going to get out there like a week early just to get acclimated.
Yeah,
because I know jet lag shit out of you. All these other guys were coming in like a day or two before, you know? And I didn't, you know, that's their deal. But I wanted to make this thing work. So I always get out there a week ahead, and I stayed with the promoter, or he put me up in the hotel or something even earlier. But it was good, because my body got acclimated, and sure as shit, I was ready to go, man. I could have eaten a plate that day.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's very smart.
So yeah, that's on the Ted Arcidi YouTube, the 666, all 3 attempts, and it's the balls. Yeah, we got like, I think on that YouTube channel right now, this IT guy got it together for me back, I don't know, 6-7 months ago. We got 4.5 million views on it now. That's insane.
That's awesome. Wow. I was part of that last night, Ted. So very cool.
Oh wow! So you're right there.
Oh yeah, I'm subscribed. Too, of course, I subscribe. I hit the notification bell for the Ted Arcidi channel. Of course.
Yeah, that's cool.
So what's the official name of the YouTube? What's the official name of it?
Oh, it's called Ted Arcidi YouTube. That's all you got to type in.
Okay.
All right, everybody, go check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ted Arcidi YouTube. Just type that in, and you'll be on the first page. You'll be great.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to jump into your wrestling career now. So how did you find your trainer, and when did you know you wanted to go from weightlifting to wrestling? And when you decided to do that?
Good question. Yeah, good question. So after I did the 666. I got the official world record out in Hawaii. WrestleMania 1 came out in '84, and I said, I knew my friend Steve Sanderson. He was a big power lifter. He had a great squat, and he was in Hawaii too. And we used to shoot the shit. And he was good friends with Ken Patera, because Kenny, when he came to Boston, used to stay at Stevie and his wife's house when he wrestled.
Okay.
So when he started coming into Boston again, Stevie introduced me to him, and we watched his matches, and then eventually I told him, listen, Kenny, I want to get into this, man, because he knew, and he kind of pushed it too, because you're going to be the first man to bench 700 pounds. If you get that, you get a lot of publicity on the cover of magazines, muscle and fitness articles, Powerlifting USA. Vince is going to find out about it, but I'm going to let him know, and I think you'd be good, because it'd be like a real strongman like him. He had the silver medalist, and I'd have the world record in the bench, and that's what happened. So I was just pumped. So I went to see Kenny wrestle probably 5 or 6 times before I went down to see Vince. And this is right around the time I set the record, March 3rd of 1985, and then all hell broke loose, and I got a call from Vince. I had sent him magazines and a nice cover letter, and he says, we know who you are. We want you to come down. And I went down to see him, and I went to the office down in Connecticut, and it was the coolest meeting, and I had a contract that night, but I wanted to look at it. And the rest is history. They put me in wrestling school that fall into the winter. I think I should have stayed a little longer in wrestling school, but they wanted me so bad because I don't know if you remember, Ken Patera got thrown in jail because he had a Mac attack
Right.
with Saeed or somebody, and McDonald's, which made huge news.
Yeah.
And he had to go in the can for a couple of years. So Vince wanted to get a strongman out there right away. So it worked out good, though. They gave you a lot of squash matches and stuff, and I eventually built myself up, and I learned really on the road and stuff of how to work. And they started me as a face, but I think the best matches were probably late that first year in the WWE, like in late '86 when I wrestled the Sheik and Stud, and it was really, really good. We sold out at the Boston Garden main event TV. Main event, and I went over big in Boston, but Stud was key because he kind of walked me through the match. But you look at the match, it was really a brawling match, kinds of strength, lifting, doing aerials off the ropes, double axe handles and stuff that I know the modern day strongman, what's his face that they put him in there, Mark Henry.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I think he's a DEI WWE wrestler because they put him in for that reason, because he didn't have the physique and he didn't have the athletic ability I had.
Okay.
so Ted, you were talking about some of your first, but do you remember who your first match was against?
Yeah, it was a TV match. It was one of those squash matches. Mario Mancini.
Ah, okay.
I've seen that match.
Mario Mancini. Yeah, that was in Poughkeepsie in like early '85. Yeah.
And you were always billed as Ted Arcidi, right? You didn't go by a different name.
Yeah, which was great. I mean, it was an original Ted Arcidi, World's Strongest Man.
Oh yeah, that's great.
I remember Gorilla putting me over and stuff. But I mean, it was pretty amazing. It's like, okay, I set the world record. I go to wrestling camp, and then all of a sudden, I'm on Saturday morning, all over the world. They show me squashing people, and then they show the official world record bench press at Hawaii. It's like, you're a rock star already. It was like amazing because it legitimized my being there.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I'll backtrack just a little bit. So, what school did they send you to?
I went to it was just a regular school in Orange, Connecticut. Tony Altamori had a wrestling school there.
Cecilia.
Yeah. And he used to team up with Lou Albano a long time before me, but he was a good guy, and he just, he showed me the ropes, and I'd go down there from Massachusetts. I'd drive down there from Mass, and I'd stay in Connecticut at that place in a hotel, kind of a shit hotel, but it was still good as long as I ate and lifted for like 4 days straight out of the week. I did that for like that whole summer of 85 all the way into the fall and the winter. And we'd be going, this is like when wrestling, even house shows, you get 3,000-4,000 people. It was amazing. So I'd learn at these house shows too, but it was a pretty incredible time.
Yeah.
All right, so when you was with the wrestling school, I know he a lot of his guys worked a lot of those Northeast independents while they were training. Did you work any of those while you were training with him?
Oh yeah. Those are the independent. Well, it wasn't an independent circuit. We just do house shows. Because they didn't want to put me in because I was signed with the WWE, so they just put me in a house show where they were doing work anyway, like if it was a benefit or something. But when you do these house shows back then, they'd have like someone like the Sheik as a headliner, or Bob Backlund, or David Schultz, and the place would be mobbed. And I'm thinking, this is the balls, man. This is a high school. And you can't even get into the place. It was solid, and I think I was like a Russian. I played. I didn't. They didn't know my name. I just played like a heel Russian.
Nice.
I always wanted to be a heel, but they insisted on training me face because that's how you always learn is with the face. But I love those things. Yeah. I was a Russian heel. I just like kill people with clotheslines all day.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize up in the Northeast, especially around that time, actually from that time on back, the Northeast, that New York, they ran all the Catholic high schools and all that stuff.
Exactly, yeah. You'd see Vince in there with his suit and stuff. They were doing shows at high schools and arenas that was still like 4,000 or 5,000, even in '85. In '86, they kind of stopped that because they were just so big. that they went on the road all over the country, as you know. But yeah, Vince was smart because as it was getting on cable TV, it just got more and more exposure, and we became more and more known. And TV and exposure, as you guys know, that's the key.
Yeah.
That's the key. If you're not on TV, nobody knows who you are.
Right. Right.
And I keep telling all these guys, like just jumping to today's world where you got these people bitching and moaning to Vince McMahon or the old owner down in World Class, Fritz von Erich. They're saying, well, they get PSD. They want to get an allotment. They want to get an award because they got their heads wrung too much and they shouldn't have done that. And it's the promoter's fault. And I just come out and tell them they're full of shit. Something. We're adults. We knew what we were getting into. Okay. Vince wasn't a counselor. He wasn't a mother, a den mother. We knew what we were doing. He gave us opportunity. If we didn't take care of we didn't take care of ourselves, if we ended up taking drugs and staying up all night and coking out and stuff, yeah, you are going to get hurt, and that's your own damn fault. And I even got pissy. I'm not going to mention the names, but some wrestlers on the air on one of these podcasts, and I said, who is shitting who? If Vince didn't get you, if he didn't get me, if he didn't get Patera, if he didn't get the Sheik, if he didn't get Backlund, if he didn't get Hercules Hernandez, all we would be was a bunch of gym rats.
Yeah.
He made us who we were, and that's the truth. So how dare them try to drag Vince through the mud,
Yeah. Yeah. That's an interesting perspective. I like that.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense because Me Too movement, everyone's trying to not take culpability, not accounting of your own actions.
Amen.
And I think that's bullshit.
Amen. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
So obviously we know you came to the WWE in December of 85. You officially started. And then obviously we know about Patera. But then around this time you do that awesome Piper's Pit segment that was just...
Yeah, I didn't think that was that awesome because I was so out of breath because somebody me on the time when that thing was supposed to be on, and I had to run like a whole...
I've heard that before.
Two hockey rinks length to get to that thing. That's why I'm out of breath. I should have just said, let's tape it again.
Yeah.
People are saying I'm on coke and stuff, but I was just out of breath because I just ran like a half a mile to get to that place.
Yeah. Who ribbed you like that? Who did that?
I think it was Bundy. I think it was. Yeah, they said, well, you're on now. You got to be over there. They didn't give me a place to stand by or nothing. So, yeah, I guess it was like a rib. They made me run. I should have just said, you're going to retape it. But I was so eager to get on there. So
right, man. Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't even get out a word because I was out of breath. It's like someone bringing a mic to your face after you run a quarter of a mile.
It's horrible. I'm sorry. That's horrible. Yeah.
That's all right. We had other interviews. I think my best promos, to be honest with you, are the ones I did up in Calgary and down in Texas with Paul Vera. Those are great promos.
Oh, we're going to get there. I promise. I can't wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the first little bit of 86, you worked Tiger Chung Lee a lot. Do you have any memories of those matches?
I did that in New York City with him. Yeah.
Any memories of those matches specifically? Or?
They were kind of like give and take and stuff a little. Tiger was a good wrestler and stuff. And I always hated my finish. I thought that was, the bear hug is good, but it could be better. I always liked doing a clothesline as a finish down in Texas.
Yeah.
And then just or a body slam and then just pinning them.
Yeah.
But it was an old style thing. And because I'm a face, they wanted me to do the bear hug. So I did the bear hug. It still shows some strength because I was the biggest guy in wrestling,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You think they did that because that Bruno, he was famous for that bear hug? Do you think
that's a good point? I think he had input on that. You're right. I think that's a good point.
Very good point. So so moving on, in February of 86, you did the tour of Australia with WWF.
That was great. They had me work with Matt Bourne.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that was a good experience. First time wrestling internationally, and we were over big time down there. And I got to really do some really good chest chops on him. They liked that. I was kind of stiff, but they'd rather have me stiff than fake. So I did some really good chops down there. and suplexes on people and stuff. That was a good learning tour for me. But I get over down there too, because of course my size, everybody wanted to see. They were paying their $10-15 to see who's the real world's strongest man who bench pressed 700 pounds. And they saw it. So it was cool going into the ring anytime you go into an arena then.
No doubt. Yeah.
Very cool.
All right. So on April 4th, 1986, you worked WrestleMania 2. You worked the Battle Royal. How was it working?
Yeah, that was great. That was great. That was at the Rosemont Horizon in Chicago. That's when Vince did 3 different simulcasts for WrestleMania. And I loved it, man. I was with a lot of muscle in that card, a lot of great football players. And I think I was thrown out, I don't know, halfway to 3/4, which is good.
Right.
And it was good. I did some power moves. I did some pressing. And just being introduced and running into the ring, the whole world's watching you. It was just unbelievable. I mean, the guy, Vince, you couldn't do a better way of promoting it. And then we did like press conferences before and after the Battle Royal, and I made up with some good friends in the NFL after that. And it was really, really good. It was really good. And then Andre, of course, won the whole thing, and I'm glad he did.
Yeah.
And he was a gentleman. At the end of the Battle Royal, he came around to everyone in the locker room and personally shook our hands that were in the Battle Royal, which I thought was a pretty good sportsman thing. Yeah. A lot of people don't know that, but he did that. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So he
was in a lot of pain. He was in a lot of pain with his back, as you know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So how was Refrigerator Perry?
Oh, he was great. Is he still living?
I think so.
He is still living. I love the Fridge. I'm a Bears fan, so I love the Fridge.
So good the way he came into the ring. So good with the persona he had. I mean, I thought he was going to get back into wrestling after that, but he was just a very colorful guy, very effective guy. Yeah. Obviously, and he could carry the ball, but he could also block. And he was just a good-hearted guy. And he was always humble.
Yeah.
Even to the fact that after his football career, he went back to his trade with his dad and his grandfather being a mason. Did you guys know that?
No.
I knew that.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, he really walked the rule with his persona and his movement and stuff. He could still move good, and he was just a good guy, man.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So after WrestleMania, you were Big John Studd and King Kong Bundy in a few matches. Any memories of working with Bundy and Studd?
Yeah, I remember working with Bundy and Studd. I had more matches with Studd, but on singles. But we did like tag with Hillbilly Jim against Studd and Bundy and a couple things. Yeah. And Bundy was good. I mean, he sold and everything, and that guy could move for a big guy too, which was really good.
That's
really
awesome.
good. The guy could move.
Yeah. Yeah. So also in April of 86, you did this amazing promo with me and Gene, and you're talking about wrestling savvy. And I guess what they're trying to do is get across that you're a star. You're just not quite there in wrestling. And, you know, basically how you were strong, but still kind of figuring out the in-ring stuff.
Because I was still new. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. What did I say? I forget that one.
Well, in that interview, you said your arms were 26 inches, and you said it like this, Ted, okay? You said, my arms are 26 inches, not 24, 26. Yep. Okay.
I remember that.
Oh, yeah, because that's right. Hogan, I went on Hogan's there because Hogan's was 24.
Right.
Yeah,
now,
and mine were really 26, too, with all the behind-the-neck press I was doing.
Well,
and Mean Gene was so good putting me over like that. But that was good because that was kind of like the methodical me talking, you know?
Yeah.
And I still had that Boston accent, too.
Yeah, and it was awesome. And did you get any heat with Hulk or any higher ups for saying that?
No, I never really did. Really did, which was good because they were putting me over. I mean, they put me over really good right out of wrestling school.
Yeah,
and it was really great opportunity, and I'm glad I took it. I mean, they even gave me a doll. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was going to say something. Step in to say, I think you said a good point there that Mean Gene really put you over and everything like that. I think some of the wrestling today is missing somebody like Mean Gene, putting the talent over.
Totally. Today, the talent. I don't know if I'm not watching it enough or anything, but I think it's diluted, and I think they don't look like real wrestlers. They just look like, I don't know, fast runners, and they don't have builds or physiques. You really wouldn't recognize them in airports. It's not like when we took over a town, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I think it's after the Attitude Era, it got smaller. And I don't know if Paul Levesque, Triple H, is doing that on purpose, because the wrestlers don't look that. I don't know. They don't look like real wrestlers.
They look like your neighbor's kid.
And they do a lot of
something.
high flying stuff, and there's too much drama, and it's overacting. And I don't know. Maybe I'm just old fashioned, but I still think we packed in, and wrestling was more global, and it was more of a big thing when we wrestled. It just seemed like it was. I don't know, am I wrong or what?
No, you're exactly right. You're exactly right.
And even though they packed WrestleMania or WrestlePalooza, I don't know. It just doesn't have the flair and the panache like it did before, when we had really like good against bad and stuff. I mean, it's just, I don't know, different high spots, and I don't think there's that many strength moves either now.
Yeah,
there's no emotion. The fans can't get emotional with the wrestlers, because everybody's the same.
Yeah, and like I said, I think it's kind of diluted. I really do. Now, I don't know, but is AEW about the same as WWE? I haven't watched AEW, but do they have?
Yeah, I mean, it's about the same. They all have about, I feel like they're top about 8 to 10 guys, and then like everybody else is kind of just like meh.
Yeah,
I can't believe the money they're making though.
Unbelievable
money.
The money's crazy.
Yeah. Well, so back to Ted here. So in August of '86, they turned you heel, Ted. You worked Tony Gurria.
Yeah, that was at the big event in Toronto, right?
Right. And you worked Tony Gurria some. How was working Tony?
That was great.
Yeah.
I was supposed to work with Atlas, but he was getting a foot massage in L.A. or something. He was massaging some chick's foot. He was into So yeah, I go in there, and there's another fantastic Vince move that I would never even contemplate. They said, you're going up to Toronto and you're going to squash Gurria, and we're going to start turning you heel. I said, I love it. You're singing my tune.
Yeah.
And so it was like a squash match where I wouldn't let go of him. But one of the big things was every power move I did, I would do like a flex and stuff, really arrogant.
Yeah.
And I still remember it was so surreal, like I'm in front of 70,000 people, but it didn't feel like 70,000 people, because it was just like I couldn't see where the people ended. And I just did my thing. But that was like a real big squash match, because that was like everybody was watching that the big event with Hogan there with Orndorff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, Orndorff, I mean, Gurria was good. I mean, he put me over. And this is a guy that, had his he has had championships and tag team championships, and he was one of the agents. But the guy was cool, and it was just strength moves, and he put me over, and it was great.
Yeah,
made me look good.
That's awesome. That's good. That's what he's.
Awesome pick. I gotta get this somehow. When I'm leaving the ring in the big event, they show me getting out of the ring and walking towards the dressing room, and I'm like huge, walking through. And the people, and I'm just walking down the alley, just going, the people just opening up for me. And what a shot. My behind the neck presses, my shoulders. I couldn't fit through a door. I was huge.
You were, man.
Yeah.
You were. Yeah.
I can figure.
Jimmy's alluded to it several times, and we'll talk about it. Your LJN figure is absolutely one of the best. I have the whole collection. I have every one of the figures, but yours is one of the best. I don't know. It's just so. It's a term that's been kind of coined lately. It's very toyetic. It just looks good. Some of the figures are a little.
Good. One of my friends and I think a couple of relatives said, when I go to these things, not to blow smoke up my ass, but I'm one of the only guys that really looks like my figure still. All these other guys look like they're pasty and old and about to die. You don't even know them if you walk past them in the street, Yeah. But the way they made my action figure, it made it look like a real world's strongest man. I mean, it sure did. It's unbelievable. And I'm amazed to this day. Like you go on eBay, and if you try to find an autographed Ted Arcidi still in the package, they're going for $3,000 now.
Yeah,
because I was in and out that quick. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you're figured, like I said, just amazing. Do you remember like how you felt and everything about having an action figure and just maybe the whole deal of like signing?
My parents and my friends, they were buying a shitload of them,
Yeah,
just to save them because we knew they'd be valuable at one point,
Yeah.
A follow-up question to this. So there are a ton, and I'll tell you a ton, not just like AEW or WWE putting out figures, but there are a ton of these smaller companies right now putting out figures. Has anybody contacted you about possibly getting a figure?
One of the companies did, but what I really want to do is maybe eventually get in with the legends, with the WWE legends. I think eventually I'll do that. But you know something? You just go by the market. The market's the truest evaluation of really what's happening in the world. And our wrestling dolls in the golden age, that series, that's still the most expensive because the other ones, they look like shit. They're built like shit. They look like plastic, like they're going to break. And they suck. And it wasn't the original deal. Ours are heavier duty. You can run over a Mack truck with them, and they're still going to pop up.
Now, Ted, I will give you my personal opinion because I collect. I'm still a collector.
Yeah, sure.
If you ever, I would entertain from some of these bigger guys doing it, like the major wrestling figure podcast. It's like Matt Cardona and Brian Myers. They're both wrestlers. If you ever got a call from them, they seem to do a really good job about getting the product put out. And they
Well, if you want, put a bug in their ear, and
I'll message. I'll put a bug on their Facebook page. I'm telling you, that would be a good one because they do like the LJN style, but they would do it probably a little different than your LJN figure look. So they would probably add something.
That's amazing how they can make something look like. I mean, there's a lot of people that do dolls now because of the 3D printing and all that, right?
Yeah. Now I can't tell you who pays the talent the best. But I'm just telling you who does the best quality work.
But I mean, get that Legends deal for sure.
Oh, if you can get that Legends deal,
I want to get
by
the
all
Legends
means.
thing. Yeah.
So I want to say something. This was my favorite LJN action figure, and quite possibly, Ted, you might be one of my favorite all-time action figures as a child. I'm not an adult collector, but when I remember back in the day, obviously we had He-Man, we had the Hulkster, we had the Barbarian. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Stretch Armstrong. But it was something about your figure that just set the time of the gigantic muscle dude. It was perfect for the 80s. I don't know what it was.
It looked like me. Basically, it looked like me.
It did. It did. To the socks and the shoes and the singlet. It was perfect. So
I don't know who the was that copied it or took the picture, but it looked the balls.
Yeah, you looked great. Yeah.
All right, so on October 2nd, 1986, you worked Steve Lombardi. Was this your last WWF match, not counting the November 10th, 1986 Calgary WWF show, but actually, was this your last regular show for Vince?
It might have been my last TV match with Lombardi. Was he the brawler then or just Steve Lombardi still?
I think he was actually the brawler then.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
Right at that point.
I don't know if that was my last one because I was on the road for a while before I went to Calgary. Before I knew it, I was in Calgary on TV. And then we were trying to work that angle with Kazmaier. And I love Bill and everything, but he just didn't get it, and he just wasn't athletic, and he didn't really want to sell. And anyone that is worth their salt in wrestling, you got to learn to sell.
Right.
I mean, selling like me in that stud match, we sold for each other. I sold a lot for him when he kicked me out of the ring, and I was trying to get back up to the ring, and he kicked me again. I tried to get back up again, and then he'd sell when I was hitting him up against the steel post and the wrestling ring itself. But Kaz, he fakes selling, and you just can't fake it selling because it just kills the industry,
Right.
So how did you get your job in Calgary?
Well, actually, Vince set it up because that was the plan. He wanted me to get into healing more, really good, before I came back to see him. Okay. So we got to do a year out there, and that was the plan.
Okay, got it.
And I was probably going to come back as a heel with Patera or something, and we would have been taking on the Road Warriors and shit.
Oh, dude, it's been incredible. And now a word from our sponsor.
Saw Wrestling and USWO return to the Murfreesboro National Guard Armory on Saturday night, October the 4th, 7 p.m. bell time. Doors open at 5:45. Get there early to get a good seat, something to eat, and meet your favorite stars of this great event. Your main event for the tag team titles, Royal Prestige, Majestic, and Tavon Jordan take on Derek Neal and Jeremiah Plunkett. For the USWO heavyweight title, it's LT Falk defending against Zach Harnell. In a special challenge match, the legend from Louisville, Vic the Bruiser, returns, making a rare Mid-South appearance, taking on homegrown Bubba Brewer. Sean Hurley, the sensation, locks up with Hollywood Flynn Hendricks. Matt Starr taking on the full Nelsonizer. And in a Weatherby family feud, it's Big Brother Kevin taking on Little Brother Drew. And the big men collide as Juggernaut John Irons locks up with the indestructible D'Amico Graves. Also, LBK will be flying around the ring. Gordon will be there, Connor Casey, Kevin Martin, and Shane Morton. And you never know who's going to show up at a Saul USWO event. Get your tickets now at uswotix.com. You can get them off of Facebook directly from Kroll himself, or you can get them at the door. We hope to see each and every one of you Saturday night, October the 4th, 7 p.m. bell time, National Guard Army, Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
So when you get to Stampede, you're working George Scotland a lot. What are your memories of working him?
Yeah, Scully's a good guy and stuff, but, he just didn't have a body and stuff. He was kind of like a jobber,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Territory.
But he was a good guy.
Yeah.
His dad was one of the agents, and, you still want to work for the essence of work, because we worked every night out there, pretty much, 6 days a week. And it was really good because you had to get into that grind of working every night as a heel and being on the phone, being on the rap, being on the mic. And it was a good place to learn, just like everybody else who went out of that mill. And, I'm really glad I went there. The Hart family took me in. We used to have dinner at their house every Sunday. And for them to ask you to have dinner at their house, they must have really liked you. So I liked him. He was old school. Stu and his family were great people. Great people.
Did he ever try to get you down to the dungeon?
Yeah, we did the dungeon a couple times. And he used to love to stretch people and stuff. And, you can only stretch me so much or I'll pop something.
I was going to say,
but, people don't remember this either about Stu Hart, but he was a strong weightlifter at one time before he got into the wrestling full time. He was early in his career, he was a great military press lifter. The guy was strong.
That's awesome.
He really was.
Yeah.
I saw pictures of him. He looked like seasoned power lifter. Like he wouldn't want to with him.
Yeah. Well, what about Mr. Hito? Working him?
Yeah, I remember him. Yeah, he was great. He sold like a bastard, and it was good because it'd go back and forth, especially if it was a tag match with Duke Myers and him or something.
Yeah.
I forget who I worked with up there, but Hito sold, and he juiced. We juiced a couple times, and I think it was good. He was a good guy. And he'd give me tips on healing and working the mic and things like that. And you learn every match. You learn every day. And some things you keep, some things you don't, but you got that in your reservoir of activity and moves, and it just happens. And it just, I gained so much.
Yeah.
I gained so much from Calgary. I think I was up there for 6 months or something. And then I wanted to go back to Vince right away, and Vince says, no, we're not ready. I said, well, I got to get out of here. I want to get back on TV. So I went down to Fritz von Erich, WCCW, World Class. And that was a great thing because I got back on TV again as a heel. And they gave me manager, Percy Pringle, the pallbearer. We had a great run. We got the belt down there, too, the Texas Heavyweight belt. So that was cool. And I just perfected my craft even more on the mic and in wrestling down there, especially with Matt Bourne, because I had worked with him before in Australia.
Yeah.
So, Ted, in your opinion, who were some of the strongest wrestlers that you were ever in the ring with?
I'd probably have to say Volkov,
Oh yeah.
I still think the Sheik was very strong. Atlas was pretty strong too, but I love the guy, but there was that antagonism. He didn't want to sell. He sold like a clown.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I give him a clothesline, he'd like pretend he's going down, almost as bad as when Sean went up against Hogan and he oversold. He did the same thing for me. And it's like, come on, Tony, work with me. Make it look devastating. And he made it look like a joke sometimes. So, I mean, I respected his strength. I definitely was stronger and I had more leg power than him, but I wish the guy sold more.
Yeah.
And then who else? Sheik, Volkov, they were very strong.
Did anybody surprise you at how strong they were?
Stud was pretty strong, you know.
Yeah.
He was down with me down in Australia, and we work out together. That guy had a long stretch and stuff. He could still bench 500 pounds.
Golly.
But he had some natural strength, man.
Yeah.
Stud.
Yeah.
And it was good because, you know, we like I said, we had our best matches with Stud and the Sheik. Yeah.
Yeah. Was there anybody that surprised you at how strong they were?
No.
No. Okay. Yeah. Fair question.
All right, so we'll back up a little bit to Stampede because I remember watching this guy here in Memphis, and he's an old veteran by the time you got to Stampede, and I think he gets yes, he gets overlooked. I think a lot. You got any good Duke Myers stories?
I really don't, but I was thinking, who's this old wrestling? But he was actually doing good. But then I looked him up and stuff, and I guess he got the belt a lot down in Memphis, and he worked down those spots down that way in the deep south.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you said you left Calgary down to World Class, did you just call up Fritz and how did you get down there?
Well, I sent a cover letter like everybody else, and I actually called on the phone and I was talking to Bruiser Brody because he was like the booker at that time, and they said, "Well, come on down, let's have an interview and stuff." So I went down there, and I remember Bruiser took me out to dinner right near the Sportatorium, which no longer exists. And we went to this place it was a big barbecue, Big Al's, I remember. And I just ate like a bastard. And I remember the Bruiser telling me that, you know, I knew I was going to hire you just the way you eat. I used to eat like a bastard. And I ate. And then he says, well, I don't know how long I'm going to be booker, but I'll put in a word for you, and please keep in touch. But we want you down here because I remember there was like a turnover big time with bookers there. George Scott was a booker.
Right. Gary Hart.
Bruiser was a booker. And then Gary Hart. Then once Gary Hart get in, they brought me down there, and I wasn't in totally. I had to do some dark matches in Fort Worth, and I remember did a dark match with Cousin Junior, and it was a great match. I did the give and take, and I killed him with clotheslines, and the crowd was just like in wow, you know, just because of my size, and it was a brutal thing. And I'd go outside the ring with him too, and I'd slam him, and then I'd take a beat myself, and then I'd just like kill him with a clothesline. And it was a great match. I ended up, you know, it was a good match. We went back and forth, but I ended up, you know, getting the 3 count on him. And I remember that night I was showering and stuff, and he come in the shower. He goes, "Brother, you can work. I want to see you with Fritz the next morning, 10 o'clock at the Sportatorium." So that was great. That was probably one of my best moments in wrestling when I knew I could wrestle as a heel. It was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Because, you know, they'd taken a chance on me, and I still remember what Gary said. And then I had the meeting with Fritz the next day, and I was going to get the push, and they're going to give me a manager, and I was just so psyched. So, yeah, it wasn't laid out like with Vince. I had to prove myself as a heel wrestler, and thank God I worked up at Calgary, because I don't think I would have gotten to that level for them to push me, because, as you know, back then, World Class, that was on right after WWF, and that was all over the world too, man.
Yeah.
And I was just like, people are saying, yeah, Ted's a heel, and he's down with the Von Erichs now. So that was the balls.
Yeah.
Hey, Ted, was Jeep Swinson down there World Class when you were there?
He was down there right before I got down there, because he wasn't there long. But remember, he was going up against Brody and stuff.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then he I guess he left, but he was a big guy, but not to classify him and Kaz, but he just wasn't that athletic, you know?
Yeah, he wasn't mobile at all. He couldn't move.
Yeah. And they pushed him, too, as the mercenary, right?
Yep.
Yeah. You know, and one thing I hope the next action figure you have has your world-class look. You had those longer black
the 705. That was the balls.
Yeah.
I'm
it was
so
awesome.
glad I had that, too.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I had that. And that was so cool because I still can remember Kerry Von Erich was down there commentating at the Sportatorium. And when we were on the Sportatorium, if you look outside, there was like 10 satellites. They had the TV pull because of those boys. We were all over the world.
Israel.
And, I remember I was working Matt Vaughn's back and working the crowd, and that's when I was like getting really cocky and stuff. But that was a good time, man. That was a really good time. And then we do our interviews and promos at the Fort Worth. Yeah. And I'll tell you, I couldn't have had a better manager than Percy Pringle, a.k.a. Paul Bearer, Mooney, because he was in charge of Rick Rude and Bourne at one time, and Cactus Jack, and everybody. And so I was in good hands, man. Those are good promos, and I'm glad I had them done because they sold.
Yeah, and speaking of a great promo vignette, A Day in the Life with Ted Arcidi, the Italian Stallion vignette, where you're fishing.
Yeah, I remember that when I'm buying wine after I'm fishing in some mud hole.
Man, so I'm saying, though, WWE missed out on you, bro. You had such great character in that. Like,
well, you know, and that was good because I think that got me into acting, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And I was so grateful. And every time I saw Fritz, I thanked them. Every time I saw Vince, I thanked them. But I really feel bad because I remember Fritz died early, like in the 90 or something. I wanted to go to his funeral. I couldn't make it. And that guy really saved my ass as a heel. If you want to hear the story, that's the story right there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the one that got me in to give me world exposure as a heel at the Von Erichs. I mean, to say that you were a belt holder in the Von Erich territory, that's a lot of weight.
No doubt.
That guy did it. And those Von Erichs, that was they built up a great territory, man. I still say Kerry was one of the best world champions ever, especially back in '84, I think, or it might have been '83, when he filled up Texas Stadium and beat Flair.
Right.
That was insane.
It was.
That was insane.
Huge.
It was the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the best matches I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Tell us about the tug of war matches you had with the Spoiler.
Oh, yeah. We had some of those in some places. And, he's a tough guy, Spoiler, back with Gary Hart back in the 70s, man.
Yeah.
When they toured Japan and all over the place.
Yeah.
But he was a good guy, and we'd do matches, and we'd work each other and stuff. And then, of course, things would get crazy, like I'd have to cheat. And he sold like a bastard. But, that guy was in good shape. He was in his 40s end, and he was in great shape. He used to do a lot of working out. Is he still around?
No, he passed on. Yeah.
You know who I wanted to see, too, again, was Mike Sharp. And I heard he got dementia or something. But I worked some independent matches with him after I got out of the WWE.
Oh, okay.
And, he was a good man, too. But that guy was in shape.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember I had a great match when I went to Caribbean there, Bermuda. We did. Who did I work with? Saito, or was it Jake down there? And I was heel, and I owned the place. It was great. I pulled like an Adonis, like I'm trying to outfox a guy, and he me over, and I get thrown out of the ring somehow. And when I'm outside the ring, I pulled down the banner and shit, and I was pissed, and the crowd gave me more heat. And that place was full down there because they promoted it the whole week. And then we just battle outside, go inside the ring too. But that was another thing where I was just big, and people love brawling. Like when I had the matches with Bruiser, it was great because we brawled into the crowd. People like that stuff. High flying's good and stuff, but I remember Vince telling me too, when you're out there with Stud, people see you press slamming him or throwing him into the post. Or like the edge of the ring, and you're taking it too, when you're holding it back and giving it to him, and he's selling. People love that because it's like two big guys. You can do all the high flying you want, but I remember Vince says Nothing goes over better when two big guys go at it, clubbing each other to death. Selling it with a chair, selling it with a post. It just people flip out because they know they can never see that again.
Yeah, absolutely.
So at the end of August of '87, you talked about a little bit earlier. You won the Texas heavyweight title in Fort Worth. What do you remember about that night and that match?
That was a great match, and I think I might have had interference with Percy and stuff. We ended up cheating. We got the belt from Bourne.
Yeah,
and that was great, man. And I was shithouse. Like I got the belt, and it was great because I remember we did some promos after that, and Percy's on there, and he took a beating, and but he would say, "Listen, I come back, brother. I always come back, and I got the Texas World Champion right now, heavyweight champion, and we're gonna go for the World Champion because that's when we were going against Al Perez." And I had some great matches with him down in Corpus Christi and all over Texas with Gary Hart. Gary was a great manager. And I would do some jaunts with him while Perez was beating up Percy. I was going up against Gary Hart, and he's like, all of a sudden, he made it so smooth. He goes, now I'm going to need you in the balls. And then he'd need me in the balls. And I'd sell that, and the place would go shit out. But didn't he have a great persona?
Oh my God!
Gary Hart was phenomenal.
You're speaking Jimmy's language right now.
He's my favorite all time. So yeah, we actually had his son
in New York, but he's still one of the best managers ever, man.
Yeah,
him with the gang.
Oh
and
man,
him with Kabuki there.
Kabuki,
phenomenal.
Yeah,
and he was just so, how do you say it? Rude, but subtle with them eyes.
Right,
looking. He just got heat immediately.
Yeah.
And he was so photogenic and subtle, but he looked like a real asshole. And it sold, and he made a shitload of money.
Yeah. You're golly, Ted. You're the man.
Yeah. All right. So when you was down in world class, the guy that was down there, he's one of my guys on my list of all-time guys that don't get a lot of credit. It's Al Madrill. Do you have any stories about Al Madrill?
Oh, yeah, Al. I remember Al. Yeah, Al and Brian Adias. They live in world class, right?
Yeah, yep.
They were good guys. Al Madrill, this is the tongue-in-cheek on Al. He was really tight, probably still is, with Willie Nelson. They were, really tight.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, like they used to hang out together, and, that was his favorite wrestler, Al Madrill. Probably because he had that Mexicana... charisma and stuff too,
Yeah, he was really.
Yeah, but Al was good, and he gets sold. And then Brian Adias, he was good. Yeah, I put him right up there with gentleman, what's his face? That
Chris Adams.
Ended up passing, but
Chris Adams.
Adams. Yeah. What was his first name?
Chris
Adams. Yeah, he was good. I remember I met him at Gold's. I see him coming out. I think, hey man, you're on world class. How you doing? But he was cool, and I'd put him in that class. Adias, he was good, man. He was good. They could have worked him a little better as a heel, but he was good, man. He really was.
Yeah, they said that people always said that Brian Adias was the fifth Von Erich.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Like the father of a brother that wasn't a brother. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
That Von Erich.
I'll tell you, man, all the credit goes back to that family. They started that thing with Fritz, and then the kids took over, and they didn't have connections, but their talent and the angles with the wrestlers got them all over the world. Yeah. All over the world. That was a phenomenal territory, and I'm just grateful that I was able to work in that territory with the exposure they had then, because when I left, they started losing a lot of TV and shit.
Yeah. So everybody knows, you always hear about working for Fritz. Was there something that's just really stood out about him when you worked for him, something that he did for you?
Yeah, the guy was very... No nonsense about everything, man. He's almost like a Stu Hart, but Southern.
Oh, okay. And, Southern Stu.
He liked the fact that I was big and strong, and he liked the fact he loved power moves, and he loved me on the rack with the mic, and the fact that I was a Yankee. They hate us down there,
right?
So who better than to give the Texas heavyweight champ belt then from a strong man from Boston, Right.
So,
that got a lot of heat.
Yeah.
And, he was very no nonsense. And I remember he used to talk to me too on the Tide. He wanted me to try to help his son Chris get into shape, give him a weight training program, because Chris really, Chris wanted to be a wrestler really bad like his brothers and get the physique, but he just didn't have the physique and stuff. And I tried, and he just didn't get into it, and it's too bad how he took his own life too. Poor kid.
Yeah. Yeah. Super sad. Yeah.
But yeah, we talk a lot. And, another thing is this too. I mean, you see the movie The Iron Claw, you read about stories about the Von Erichs. Fritz Von Erich was not overbearing as a father. He just wanted the kids to do well, but to try to lead a clean life. He knew that the drugs were out there. But like any kid back then, you get international stardom. It's easy to get the broads, and the drugs come with it. And they got everyone but Kevin got caught into that.
Yeah.
It's sad, but it's not. He was not overbearing. He wasn't. He was not overbearing. From what I saw, he was not. He was a very loving father, and he just wanted them to keep training and be athletes, because you're an athlete, And he just would caution them to, don't go out too late, don't get too crazy. I'd hear him talking, and they loved their father too. Don't get me wrong, but people get weak.
Yeah.
They get weak,
Yeah.
And that's sad, because that was a great family.
Yeah.
And I was sad to hear that the old lady divorced him, but I think Vince was a good father. I mean, Fritz was a really good father. He really was. You could kind of tell when you're talking to someone how they are.
Yeah.
Just good instincts,
Right.
And he worked for everything. Guy worked for everything he got. It wasn't given to him.
Yeah.
Just like the kids. But you get so famous so quick that you're mobbed at airports and stuff. That's
Just like the Beatles, Elvis,
tempting and stuff. I when I was in the WWE, after I got on TV and stuff, it was hard. You get rushed at airports and stuff. I thought it was great, but I didn't let it get to my head because I was already there with the weightlifting. But this was like times 10 because you're on TV all the time. So I just knew how to control myself. And luckily, because lifters like us, Patera, me, Volkov, Sheik, Hogan, all the Orndorff, we had to train. We had to train every day. So we couldn't f around.
Right.
Or else we'd lose our gimmick. If you're not strong, you're going to lose your gimmick.
Right.
You can. So that was motivation. Okay, I can't f around. I got to go in. I got to bench every day. I got to do my behind the necks during the week and squats. And I got to look good. And I remember what's this say? Who told me? Al Tamori told me this when I was at wrestling camp. And this is during Hogan's heyday in the beginning. He says, Ted, did you know that Terry Hogan, he says, 3 hours a day he commits himself for his body, whether it's getting color in the suntan roof and lifting weights and stretching. 3 hours a day. And I believe it. I believe it because he was a specimen, man.
Right.
And he looked like that. And you have to be looking like you train better than anybody in the world. And you look at, and he had the height. He was gifted with great moves and good looks, but he worked at it too. He had a great, great physique. And it was just exemplified even more because of his, 6'6" frame, which was great.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a guy right there. Yeah, I remember, and that hit me. It just sunk into me when Tony left. And I'm thinking, you're right. So I am doing this thing there right. I got to lift my ass off still. I got to get color. I got to get tan, keep tan, get a shave. And you want to just look the biggest, your best on TV because that's why Vince got you there. He doesn't get you there because you're a high flyer like a British Bulldog or somebody. He's got you there because you're doing power moves. You're the biggest, baddest, strongest motherfucker in the world, period.
Yeah. Amen.
That's why he made a big doll, too.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So, you got any good, you can censor this or not, but any good, any stories about the boys, Von Erichs, something that just stands out,
Honestly, I'd lie to you if I said I did, but I really didn't. I wasn't hanging out with them, so to speak,
Yeah.
But they were good guys in the locker room, good guys to talk to. But no, I was like a nun. I'd be in bed by 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. I didn't really party and stuff, I was just happy to get on TV and wrestle and do my promo and get to bed because I knew that everything that I was my investment, me. my workout status. It got me there. That's got me there because of the world record, and I had to keep that.
Yeah.
And I remember there was this one story, though, with Fritz. I got invited to the World's Strongest Man that was going to be in Hungary that year, that summer. And I was thinking of going because I would have had a chance to win the World's Strongest Man. Fritz talked me out of it. He goes, Ted, what if you lose?
Yeah.
And then there goes your gimmick, because that would make more news that Ted's no longer the World's Strongest Man.
Yep.
Because he lost at an official World's Strongest Man contest. Not that he didn't lose the bench press record, but that would sully my career. And he made me think, and I go, you know something, you're right.
Yeah.
Wow. That's smart.
Yeah. I remember that. And these people, they kept asking me, we'll pay you this, we'll pay you that. And it sounded good, and I was in great shape. But what if I lost? How do you go back to wrestling when you got just fresh off the press in all the newspapers that you're fourth? You got fourth place in the World's Strongest Man. I don't think I'd even have a chance to get back to Vince.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Vince, I'm pretty sure told Mark Henry that when he did a World's Strongest Man.
Oh, yeah.
Wrestling,
he didn't want it. Yeah.
He told him, he said, if you lose, I'm not going to place for you. So,
but plus, if you remember Henry, he was hurting. He always had a bad knee when he got into wrestling in the first place.
Yeah.
He was hurting.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on him as a wrestler? Be honest.
Oh, as a wrestler, I bet he's a pretty strong guy. As a wrestler,
I'll tell you what. If you put his athletic ability against mine, like his best match with my best match against Stud, I blow him away. I move better than him.
Right.
I could do shit off the ropes that he could never do.
I totally agree.
I still tell people, and I don't mean to. I'm just telling facts like Chuck Charlie Kirk. He was a DEI wrestler. They wanted to get a black guy to become a world champion, and that was him. He couldn't move that good. I remember watching a match with him against the Undertaker, and it's like so slow. He's sweating up a storm. He tried to get Undertaker on the third rope so he could do a suplex. By the time he got him onto the top rope, and then he had to get up to the top rope to do a suplex, I could have gone to the kitchen and had a sandwich. I mean, I like the guy and stuff, but I don't think he deserved to be a world champion.
I think, like Quinton said, they rushed him. I mean, they really did.
Because I think they rushed him too. But I think he should have lost weight. He should have got more active, and he should have gotten his knee fixed. He went in there already hurting. He had a bad knee, and it cursed him, and it haunted him for the rest of his career.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
All right. So in 1997, we see you on TV on shows like Law and Order, which Law and Order SVU is one of my favorite all-time shows.
That was a great gig I had with Law and Order that time, and I wanted to get back into acting because I was done wrestling, and I had my vitamin supplement company. I don't know if you saw me. I was in Weeder magazine. I had a big vitamin supplement line, and I owned a woman's gym and a store and a mill that we bought with my father together, a mill building, and it's still there today, and we still own it. But when I got on Law and Order, that was so cool because it's like, all right, man, I love acting. This was good because I wanted to do it. Because I always wanted to get back on TV, but I always wanted to act. And I did like a whole bunch of acting classes. I'd go to New York and Boston and do these workshops like other actors and stuff. And I really liked it. And I think I said to myself, I could do good at this. It's just being yourself. And I'm used to being on camera. It's just about being a persona, being an actor, and taking that and working with another character, a bunch of characters. And it worked out well. And that was my first good gig. Then I did some commercials. I did a FedEx commercial. I did a bunch of independent commercials. And
you did Blue Bloods.
Then I
saw you on Blue Bloods.
Yeah, Blue Bloods was pretty cool. That was a good one too with Donnie Wahlberg. Yeah.
You were with Mark in The Fighter too, and Christian Bale.
Yeah.
That
was great. That was a great
movie.
Scene. I was with. Yeah, I had a lot of lines in that, and that was a very integral part because I played Lou Gold, who was setting him up to get his ass kicked, but I didn't know. I just wanted to get him in the ring again, but he was going against Ron Mudgeon or somebody like that, and he ended up getting his ass kicked because I got him in there too quick and he wasn't in shape. But that was a nice part, and I worked with Bale and Wahlberg on that scene. Shit, we were there like all morning in this hotel room for like 4 or 5 hours with the director there, the one that won the Oscar too. There, you know.
Yeah.
David O. Russell.
Right.
And then we did some shoots outside the ring and stuff. But Wahlberg was great to work with. Bale was great to work with. Melissa Leo. So I'm with like 3 Oscar winners.
Yeah.
And I remember this. I was like, we're doing our thing, and the director would pull us aside, and he said, Ted, just keep doing what you're doing. But he would get on these other people because they were missing something. They didn't get their lines. I'm not going to mention names. And I'm thinking, I could do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is easy.
Yeah.
Basically, you're just talking to somebody, and you got the situation, you got the scene in your mind, and you put yourself in that persona, and it works. It works, and we got some good stuff. And they love it when you improv too. And don't get fooled when you watch good acting. A lot of that is like during takes that they did on their own. Actors did on their own. The director will just say, "Go ahead and just throw it away. Stay on the subject matter, but throw in your own things if you want. Just throw something away." And usually that's the best stuff. And David O. Russell was really happy with my work. So I think that was a stepping stone to get more work after that. You know, when I get The Family and I got the FedEx commercial, and then I got a bunch of other stuff, you know, Blue Bloods, then Ray Donovan.
Ray Donovan, yeah.
I love that character.
That
Yeah,
cool.
I love that show. What's next for you in acting, man? What do you got coming up?
Yeah, right now I just filmed back in end of May. There's a new HBO series coming out, Columbus Day, and it's at the coveted 10 o'clock spot on HBO.
Wow.
On Sundays at 10 o'clock. The HBO series is called The Chair Company.
Okay.
And I'm in episode number 5.
Okay.
And I think they liked it a lot. They said, keep your ear open. We might need you for the next season. So I can't wait to see what they got, because it was a good part, that episode I had.
That's very
cool.
That's
going to be good. I'm going in Monday. Got another role with Cameron Diaz in this new movie called Bad Day, where I'm fighting for a parking spot with her back and forth. And then I end up taking the parking space, and I flip her the Byrd. So that's going to be cool too. We filmed that Monday.
Nice.
So yeah, like it's been great, because like the last 5 years we had COVID, we had the actors strike, I had my knees replaced, so I had a lot of stuff done. It just feels good to get back in the acting again.
good. I'm excited to see all that.
I think people like it too, because it's mainstream.
Yeah.
And you get people like you, like, oh, that's Ted Arcidi.
That's
so
the
I like
dude.
that. And
Yeah.
and I remember saying this to Briscoe and JBL when I was on their podcast. They like when they see wrestlers that can do other things and act and stuff, or get into business. You're more than one dimensional. They like that. Plus, it's great for exposure. You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. That SAG card doesn't hurt either, right? So
Yeah, you have to get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who actually told me about that a long, long time ago?
Terry
was
Funk.
Terry Funk, yeah, because he did some great comedy. He was a great actor, man. Over
Oh
the top and
God.
stuff.
The
And
best.
he could have done more. I think he did a couple pilots that never really made it, but he was subtle, but he looked strong. He could play the ultimate Western.
Yes.
That guy is the ultimate Western guy, right there.
Yeah. Amen.
And he told me about that. And who was the guy, the Chinese guy that was in acting way before everybody else? Not Saito. What was his name? He told me about getting the SAG card too, because it was a good key to get into it. Chinese guy, played a bad guy all the time in the Bond, James
Toru
Bond
Tanaka.
movies. Yeah, Tanaka. I worked with him in some independents. Great guy. I remember he kept saying, you got to get SAG,
Yeah.
And it was hard, because before you get your SAG card, you got to do a lot of non-union stuff.
Yeah.
And I did a shitload. I mean, I didn't just all of a sudden get Law and Order. I had to get an agent before I got Law and Order, but I had to first prove myself and do a ton of free work, student films, low budget films, where you work for nothing.
Right.
But what's good is you got good stuff, non-union commercials, you got good clips, you put it together, and then you send it down to a reel, these agents in LA and New York, and then you'll get like a commercial agent or a film and TV, and that's what I did. So I compiled that. But I hit all the workshops, as you see in my Wikipedia page.
Oh, yeah.
I did like 4 years of just going down there to New York and Boston and just attending these classes every week. Sometimes I'd sleep, in a shit hotel and stuff and go to these classes where they had mock scene studies and stuff. But these are the casting directors that would film prime time and movies and stuff like that. So you got in front of the right people. And I think that was really good. That's almost like an equivalent to me working up in Calgary for wrestling, but working in New York and Boston at these workshops for the film market.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, so I'm psyched about this Monday, and I'm getting more auditions, and hopefully, like with this thing coming out, this is a big series. Everyone's going to be watching this. Anytime HBO puts something new out at a 10 o'clock spot, that's like Sopranos,
Yeah. Amen. Amen. Can't wait.
I'm thinking if this goes as good as I think it might go, I'm hoping it does. Every director looks at talent, and if it's such a good scene, good part, then you don't have to audition. Then you go to the next stage where they say, okay, you know something? Let's bring Ted for this shot here, for this movie here. He could work as Wahlberg's friend or something, That's what I want. Because I remember I was in Astoria. We filmed that thing with Tim Robertson. He's the main star and the producer of the Chair Company. We were filming for like 4 to 5 hours. And I was just straight on adrenaline because I didn't even know who he was.
Yeah,
I didn't even care. I just wanted to work with another actor. And that's the best way to be as far as a frame of mind. And I just did my stuff. And I just I could hold myself against anybody, It's acting, it's good acting. And we adjusted it and different things. And you just get in the mode to do it. And it was great. I love doing it. I love doing it. It's easy. It's easy because it's just me being me,
Yeah, that is awesome, and we can't wait to see that. I'm excited to look at that.
Yeah, tell me what you think when you see it, and hopefully they keep a lot of it in there, and that should be a nice stepping stone.
Absolutely, I can't wait. I will let you know. I promise.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, it was really good to see you guys down at the gathering there because. We had a lot of people in my line there. That was phenomenal.
I know, bro.
It was phenomenal.
It was so cool to see you. I got to see my old buddy Boris, and then I got to meet you, and then you came.
Yeah,
on my
I met
show.
Boris, and he sounds like a country bumpkin, but that's Boris. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
I know. He's a Southern Virginia boy. Ted, we've got one more quick question, if you have time.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sheik, take it away.
So, Ted, this is it might be a tough question for you, but you've talked about a lot of matches you had. But if you had one match that you look back and you say that was the favorite match I was ever a part of, what would that be?
John Studd and me, Boston Garden main event.
I thought it might be, but that's a good one.
Yeah,
that was it. That was the crowd went shithouse when I picked him up ready to slam him because that's when Studd was giving out $25,000 if he could slam him. And I remember him in the locker room. He says, "You can pick me up." He goes, "But don't slam me." So that was kind of like a behind the scenes thing. And I miss John. He John Mitten. As everyone knows, he died like early '90s of not Parkinson's, but some stupid cancer. And he was just a great man, a great Christian. And I guess him and Billy Superstar Graham were very, very tight. Very tight. So they're both in heaven now, but they used to talk to each other too. And Superstar, when I was out in the LA tour, he was talking to me. That's when I was turning heel after the big event. We had a tour out there up and down the West Coast, and he'd be telling me what to do and stuff and the power moves and acting like a heel. And he was great. He gave me a great time. And I'm very fortunate to learn from a legend like him too. Seriously. Billy was a man before his time as far as physique. He's like the first Hulk Hogan physique was right there, Billy Superstar.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
all right, well,
for doing
get
this,
back
Ted.
to me, all right?
Take care, sir. Thank you.
Everyone else, it was really good to hear you. And everybody out there, stay tuned and we'll do another one of these.
Thank you, sir. All right. Ted Arcidi YouTube, right? Ted Arcidi YouTube.
You got it. Ted Arcidi YouTube.
Thank you, sir. Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Home box office, HBO, starting Sundays, Columbus Day weekend. I think I'm in episode 5, and we'll see what happens after that.
I love it. Thank you so much, sir.
All right,
Sounds
man.
good.
Take care.
Thanks a lot, you guys. I love you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. I'll see you. Thank you.
All right, that was the one and only world's strongest man, Ted Arcidi, and I am stoked. We'll be right back to wrap things up with the Sheik and Quinton on Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling after these messages.
Relive the glory days of Memphis wrestling with the Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast. Each week, we go back in time to review USWA Championship Wrestling from the 1990s, episode by episode. Join us for watch-alongs, behind-the-scenes stories, and exclusive interviews with people who were there and lived it. Whether you grew up watching it or you're discovering it for the first time, this podcast is your ringside seat to Memphis wrestling history. It's all a part of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network. Listen now at USWApodcast.com.
Hi, this is Mike Needham, host of the Reckless Abandon Podcast with Mike Needham. We invite you to jump on your favorite podcast platform and search for the Reckless Abandon Podcast and give us a listen. I'm sometimes joined by a part-time podcaster, part-time co-host, and full-time wife, Tiffany Nicole. We talk wrestling, we talk pop culture, we talk local events, local happenings in West Tennessee, and a ton of other stuff. But be sure to check out the Reckless Abandon Podcast. Find us on Facebook. Also, look up the Microgroup Podcasting family on Facebook and see some of our other podcasts we have out there. Until next time, make good choices and always remember, no dollar, no dice.
That's right, it's the talk of Middle Tennessee, the channel you love to hate and the channel you hate to love. It's Brian Turner from Brian Turner's VHS Rehab. And if you're looking for matches from Wolfie D to Jerry Lawler to Dusty Rhodes and the team that put a pimp before your eyes and a goatee between your thighs, Booty Call and Athena, go to lostwrestling.com. See, I made it easy for you. Brian Turner's VHS Rehab. Booyah.
All right, Sheik and Quinton. Holy cow, that was Ted Arcidi. So now that we've had Ted, what does that make it? Sting, the Rock and Roll Express, the ghosts of Nick Goulas, Jerry Jarrett, Gary Hart, Terry Funk, Roddy Piper, and we can officially call it a day.
Probably need a ghost of Hogan in there too.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going for ghosts, but I'd bet Hogan's ghost would still cost a lot of money. Oh, rest in peace. But seriously, I mean, this was one that we have wanted from the start. And again, some of y'all just aren't going to understand, but this is one we've wanted from the start. And I really think, Ted delivered. What'd y'all think about that interview?
I'll tell you what I think. I think maybe he wrong time in WWF. I mean, he started out there. So he wasn't Hulk Hogan. He wasn't like 6'7", whatever.
Right.
So then the next step, he goes Hogan to kind of macho, then to warrior. He's none of them. And so maybe he just didn't have enough under him. People don't understand. The people you see on TV, basically nowadays, most have been working 10 years before you see them on WWF or WWE TV.
Yeah.
And Ted didn't get that. And then it's like when he went away, Vince never brought him back. I guess I would have liked to ask that question. We never really fully got to it, but we asked him some questions around it, but some things you just, I wonder what his opinion is why Vince never, brought him back. Cause he, like you said, like Quinton said earlier, he did some amazing work in World Class. I mean,
yeah. Well, it's funny. Quinton and I actually talked about this after the interview. Q, why don't you fill him in on what you think?
Yeah, I think he would have been perfect for working ECW as the with FBI.
Yeah.
Didn't they had a real big deal? Was it Saul Graziano or something like that?
Yeah.
He was a big fat guy. He couldn't do nothing. He couldn't move. But 96? I mean, he would have had a good 10 years under his belt.
Yeah.
I think, because like I said, he started blossoming, for him in World Class, compared to what he was in New York. So
definitely,
yeah, and I think it would have worked. It worked out really, really good. and with Paul Heyman's mind, they could have created. Yeah, he could have did a little something with FBI, or found something else. I mean, just especially in the early days when they were bringing in all the older guys from New York, and like Morocco, Snook, and all those guys were bringing in.
Yeah,
they could have brought him in and definitely did something with him then too. So
definitely. Yeah. I mean, I brought up to you off air about the Attitude Era, and you were like, no, I mean, yeah, that might be cool, but ECW, and I was like, boom, that makes so much sense. As the heater for the FBI, which, his charisma would have got him over. But honestly, like you said, they could have put him in something totally different, just put him as the same gimmick he was in WWF. But now that he's 10 years in, he's going to turn it up even more. But anyway, yeah. That was incredible. Like I said, that was a dream episode of mine. Sheik, thank you for the LJN stuff, and Quinton, the questions were awesome. Great job on that, guys. Thank you all so much for helping make this one as awesome as it could be. So this one really meant a lot to me, fellas. So I greatly appreciate the help with it.
No problem.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So I'm going to go safely say this. Next week, we have an incredible episode, and I'm going to actually just go ahead and say it. You want me to go ahead and say it, guys? Should I go ahead and say it?
You should.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, to continue the drive to Portland Wrestling Expo 2 with Captain's Corner, Saturday, February 21st, Holiday Inn, Portland Airport, 8439 Northeast Columbia Court, Portland, Oregon. We welcome the one and only, some could say Mr. Portland, the grappler, Lynn Denton. I am stoked about that. I've interviewed Lynn in the past. Guys, I'm super excited just continuing this conversation with Lenny and everything. So y'all tune in for that. Of course, if you want to follow us, and everything we talk about is at GMBMPW on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X. Thank you all so much for liking, following, sharing, subscribing, all that good stuff. Most importantly, thank you all for listening. Fellas, I think that's all I got. Do you all have anything before we go?
No, sir.
All I got is go buy a shirt.
That's perfect, Q. Okay, so for the world's strongest man, Ted Arcidi, the Plastic Sheik, Jared Street, the Territory Wrestling Guru, Quinton Quarisma, and myself, this has been Give Me Back, My Pro Wrestling. We'll see y'all next time.
Don't forget.
All right, fans, stay tuned. More exciting World Wrestling Federation action coming up in just a moment or two. Certainly one of the greatest cities in all of the world has got to be the hometown for my guest at this time. I'm talking about Boston, Massachusetts, and I'm talking about strongman Ted Arcidi. Ted, come on in. Ted, what a tremendous addition you have been to the World Wrestling Federation, and many are calling you right now the world's strongest man. Does that title bother you at all?
No, I think it fits just right. I set all the records in powerlifting, and I'm making my way, up to that number one slot, hopefully, in the World Wrestling Federation. I've used my brute strength, the best of my ability, just annihilating my opponents, and no, I think the title fits great.
Strength certainly comes in handy here in the World Wrestling Federation, but you've got to have more than that going for you, Ted. You've got to have wrestling skill, wrestling knowledge.
You mean like wrestling savvy?
That's exactly
That's what you're talking about?
Precisely.
Okay, that's good. Well, as long as we get that straight. I'm working on that. I think I'm getting it. The strength is always there, and that savvy, that's working itself in there. I'm a quick learner, Gene.
Well,
I learn pretty quick. I mean, you've seen the matches, haven't you?
I have seen them indeed.
And you've seen my biceps too, right?
Can we get a shot of this?
Camera 6, like that, huh?
That's camera 7 we're looking at right there, but that's okay.
That is 7? Okay. Yeah. 26 inches. Not 24, 26.
All right. Ted Arcidi, I've got to say something about your hometown, Boston.
Isn't that a great city?
Phenomenal city.
The lobsters?
The lobsters.
The baked beans?
The baked beans.
Harvard Yard?
Harvard Yard, Harvard Square.
Harvard Square, right.
Did you park cars in Boston?
I used to park cars when I was in college, yeah. But, right now, I'm at the best federation.
With a tear in my eye, this is the greatest moment in my life.
This has been a James Rock Street production.